Hello and welcome to Combos and Chill Dirty Talk Sessions, episode 98. Wow, we're two episodes near to 100, and it's just
100.
getting crazier and crazier. We tried to get as many new artists on the show, and it's been going well. We got to talk to a bunch of Twitch streamers.
Yes.
Our good fellows like Vela and Obi, two-time.
A lot of artists and
from Saudi,
bands from Saudi.
From Saudi Arabia's metal scene is picking up, so it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. There's a lot
Can't
of
wait to meet them all. Yeah.
So for today is a special guest, and it was through network connections. A good friend of mine from Tough Sound, Amin, who was on the show.
Shout out to the dude.
Yeah, shout out to the guy.
Thank you, my guy.
And he was on the show, I think early this year, around April or August.
Yeah.
So he's a cool dude. He's really doing this to the core, and he's really following up with different musicians and everything. And I really wanted to bring such an artists on board, but again, they came with a big package, which their latest release is featured by Marshal Mathers AKA EMINEM, that everyone knows about. So this Mark Thomas, he's the vocalist of Disaster Theory. They're like a new metal, alternative metal band from America. They've been compared to Linkin Park, Korn, and 3 Days Grace, which I love.
Oh, I see that now.
Yeah, I love that.
Because I was listening to them while I was doing, my makeup and getting ready.
Yeah,
so.
she always does.
I always do my research,
So, without any further ado, let's get Mark on the show so we can get to know him better and we can talk about the music of Disaster Theory. So, Mark, thank you very much for joining us for episode 98, man. Welcome to the session.
Hey, welcome.
Hi,
welcome.
thank you.
How are you?
How's things,
Thank
man?
you for having me.
Oh, man, it's all good.
It's
So we
our
gave
pleasure.
a tiny introduction to you, but we usually, when we jump on this scene, we put the red carpet for the guests to introduce themselves in their own word. So it's all yours, man.
I'm just very thankful for you guys having me on,
man.
and looking forward to some great conversation. We've had some prior to this, and I think we're kind of on the same page with a lot of things, and so I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, man, for sure, man, for sure.
Absolutely.
We have as musicians, as artists in general, we have a lot of common grounds that we can, sit and chat about. So we won't, get out of topics.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So Mark, how was it with your early days when you what was that ignition point for you to become a musician? Take us back.
Well, I'll have to take you back pretty far. I
it's
think
up to you. We have all the time.
I think I was 5-6 years old.
Really?
My grandfather was a guitar player.
Nice.
Not a professional guitar player. He'd just sit around the kitchen or sit outside on the porch, kind of playing a lot of country music. At 5-6 years old, you don't really differentiate country music from other music. You just, hey, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
And so as time went on, I kind of looked, looking up to my grandfather, I was like, I really want to be able to play guitar like that sometime. And so as he would try to show me some things, but for the most part he would just have me sing along, because at 5-6 years old, you're going to be complete shit at guitar. It's going to be making a lot of noise. So when he had passed a few years after that, I made it a point that I'm going to pick that thing up and I'm going to learn how to play it. Wow. And I did for a little while, but I was still young and realized, well, this shit's hard. It's not. This isn't as simple as he made it look. And so I gave up on it for a while.
Immediately.
Yeah, it was like, hey, I can't do this. But at the same time, I felt like I'm disappointing him. And it's like, I really got to give this another shot. So it was about 3 years later or so that I picked it up again and then really took it seriously. My fingers hurt. I had calluses and blisters and my fingers bled. I was 11.
God.
And that's the early days when you pick up any instrument with strings.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And but I never gave up. I actually looked, I talked to some other old timers that played, and I'm like, my fingers are bleeding though. I can't, my uncles, I'm like, I can't do this. your finger's supposed to bleed? And so it got to a point where like they were very encouraging. Like, well, yeah, that's actually, you're building up calluses so that doesn't happen in the future.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So I continued on that path, and really got into metal first. I wouldn't even call it metal. I mean, a lot of people would, but it was more like Motley Crue.
Oh,
Poison.
glam.
All right.
Glam rock.
Yeah, glam rock. I just loved the sound of the guitars, and I would sit around trying to figure out how to play that, and of course at that age I knew nothing about actual music. It was more just, okay, I'm going to try to play what I hear them playing, play by ear. And I actually got fairly decent at that, and it wasn't until I got into middle school that I actually learned how to read and write music. And
wow.
ended up picking up a bunch of other instruments as well. I was a drummer in the marching band for our middle school, and learned a lot of other instruments, which actually plays into what we do today.
That's awesome, man.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Kind of graduated from there, but yeah, that's where it all started, with my grandfather. And it's always the same answer too, anytime anybody asks me that, because I like to, give a nod to my grandfather, for kind of kicking that off, even though it was a lot of years ago.
Wow, that's so sweet.
God, man. Yeah, God bless him. I mean, it's always, to be honest with you, you're the first one who actually had a story like this. Usually there would be, our artists that like, they got into this whole music. It's
because of an artist or a band or
like
something.
Like in teenager time, they get into metal and stuff. I mean, even me personally, I got into metal when I was in high school.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so it's nice to know that, someone from early days, when you were...
Exactly, and looking up to someone who's much older, and that's really sweet.
What type of music your grandpa he was playing? He was like blues. Sorry, you said country music. Oh, okay.
It was like country folk. A lot of Hank Williams Sr. type stuff. He would make up his own stuff to some standard country chord progressions, things like that. But back then, today, I mean, I just gave my grandfather props, and I'm about to mildly take them away. But back then, that was extremely impressive, for a little kid to watch his grandfather pick those notes and pick those little guitar solos on an acoustic guitar and things, and you're like, wow, man. Today, looking back, a lot of that stuff was real simple. I just didn't know it then. Not to take away from his talent, but I can understand why it was so.
I think he was he was not in the mood to teach you. He was like,
maybe,
you know what? Let him figure it out. He will get it eventually.
If he really wants it, he'll get it. That's and that's how he was too. I mean, so you're pretty much spot on.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, look at you now. You're having a full-fledged band. You've been like playing shows, and you got like a lot of songs out, and you're doing great, and you're doing whatever in that moment that you picked up that guitar just to play those random notes.
But my daughters are actually kind of following that same trend as well.
Are they into metal as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
My wife and I are huge metal fans. I mean, we're both pretty diverse in what we listen to. We still listen to like 80s music, Duran Duran. Different things, like different stuff like that. We're pretty diverse, but our favorite is still, metal. And so our oldest daughter, she's a metalhead. Her favorite band, I'm not real sure if it still is, but it was Shinedown.
Oh, Shinedown. Okay.
Yeah. Now our middle little girl, Raylan, she wants to sing so bad, and she wants to she's begging me all the time to record music and things. I actually sat down and helped her record her own song. She can't, at the time when she recorded it, she couldn't read. She was still too young. But she basically made up words as she went along, and we recorded that. And
oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
She was so proud of that, and because we do music for movies now too.
Awesome.
That is amazing.
It's a tough. I mean, there's a lot of competition. You know, when it comes to music and bands, people don't. Some bands look at each other as that's my competitor. I mean, there's room for everybody. In sync licensing with movies, there's not room for everybody, and it is very competitive because you're essentially submitting a song to. It almost feels like you're trying to win a contest. You know,
exactly. Yeah.
They have to pick your song. Well, we just did one of these music supervisors for a film wanted a cover song trailerized, which means basically you take it and turn it into a song that would be appropriate for a trailer, orchestral almost.
Okay.
And we did In the End by Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I had my daughter sing the lines. Now that she's a little older, can read better and can practice properly and things, you know. I sat her down in the studio with a mic and kind of gave her the phrasing of it all, and surprisingly though, she kind of knew most of it because she's a huge Linkin Park fan too. So
I mean, dude, just keep on pushing, because if you see that whole point that she is really into it and she really digs this type of thing, I mean, work on it. Don't because, you know, most of us, we had this artistic side of us, but we had to, like, you know, grow a side branch and go somewhere else to practice it. You understand where I'm going with this? So you know, she's very blessed. She's very blessed to have a father like you.
Exactly.
To, you know, actually, you know what, I'm gonna sit down and invest in my child.
Yeah.
My dad was like, you know, when he saw me playing bass for the first time, he's like, "Oh, so you became a dancer?" I'm like, "Yeah, exactly." that was his analogy of music. Yeah. But you know.
Yeah, I try to encourage my daughters to do that. You know, even my son at one point, he tried to be he wanted to be a rapper.
Nice.
And he did not understand the full nuances of music and the music business. So I tried to kind of teach him that along the way as well. And he was hard-headed. I mean, I don't even know if he's watching right now, but he hard-headed is what he is, and he.
That's the thing. Once you have a hard-headed guy, it's easier to break them down, but once they are broken and they understand the point that you need to really dig harder for this thing, if the passion is there, he will pick it up immediately, man. But again, I mean, you know, how old is he? I mean, maybe he's like, you know, stubborn because of his age or something.
I think there's a little bit of that. I think there's also a
rebellious.
little bit of he's rebellious. Also, I think not peer pressure, but the information he gets from his peers is kind of confusing to him as well when it comes to music. He actually believed that if he made one song and put it on SoundCloud, that'd be it. He was going to blow up. And I said, well, you know, that's just not how that works.
Yeah, those days are gone, man.
No, especially nowadays, it's
nowadays it's upon like, you know, freaking clickbait. So whatever you have,
it's just oversaturation.
Yeah.
It's every genre.
Yeah, everything. Like regardless, is a general topic, whatever, like food, clothes, car, anything clickbait.
Yeah.
Like that's how it rolls. And sorry, but one of our great friends, T. Philly, is saying, who isn't a huge Linkin Park fan?
True.
All right.
That is so true.
Yes. I mean,
Chester was amazing.
Oh, man.
Mark,
Rest
don't remind me of Chester, man. I'm sorry to cut you off, but he passed away on my birthday, so I was having Kenny Rogers at Dubai, and I'm like, you know.
And it's so trippy for me. I'm like, do I celebrate his birthday or do I mourn? Like, what do I do? You know?
Right. That's tough. It's you know, I've always I can't say always because, you know, there was a time that I didn't know who Linkin Park was, and so when I found out you know, about his passing and everything, it was one of the artists that I was like, oh damn, man, it was kind of hard hitting.
Yeah, it was a loss.
You know, not just because of his music, but also because of the message that he put out. You know, a lot I don't see myself. A lot of people are like, especially with our new song, the moment the press release came out that said they sound like Linkin Park, and part of me was like, well, that's awesome, because they're legends. So I mean, I don't mind being compared to them, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't sing or even attempt to sing like Chester in any way.
Mark, to be honest to you, even offline, I told you, we like as teenagers when Eminem was like trending back in the days, and Linkin Park is like they were booming. You were always, that thing was on your mind, like why these two are not collaborating on a song. Like Linkin Park has everything, and Eminem is a powerhouse.
Okay, so he doesn't know about this, but there is a fan-made collision course.
I know. I'm talking about like a...
wait. So there is collision course, I think 3 or 4, where there is a fan-made, I think, mishmash of a couple of songs of Eminem and a couple of songs of Linkin Park. So it's not available on Spotify, I think, but I think I downloaded it back then.
Yeah, but that doesn't justify what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is, people have been wanting a collaboration since ages.
Yeah.
So
and Overcome, your latest single, it captures that image very, very
and the sound.
Crisply. It's like. I think the article is again, maybe like, wrong, like, wrong choice of words and stuff, but it really captures the essence, and it's really, really hitting the spot.
But before we go into details of the track, I wanted to ask, how did Disaster Theory just come about becoming a band? How was the name chosen? The whole, the story of it all.
Like the origin of...
Yeah.
Well, Disaster Theory actually started out as just me. It was me. I was in a previous band, and when that band kind of split up, it was, me just not giving up on music. I didn't want to do that. I still had that itch, that calling. Something was just wanting me to continue doing music. So I started doing this on my own as a solo thing. And the more that I got, into it, writing our first album and everything. Well, I should say at that point, writing my first album as Disaster Theory, I started to realize that this isn't enough.
Right.
We went from, I had gone from being on a stage and on tour and performing, co-headlining with bigger bands like Eve 6, for example.
Nice.
Okay.
And Trapped. I get it. People don't really they have their opinions of Trapped, but still, it was a band that we had played with.
Trapped, I know Trapped,
is
man.
Awesome.
Headstrong, man. Like that song, like the one-hit wonder that they had.
He kind of. I hate to say this because he is. I mean, I haven't spoke to him in a while, but he is. He became kind of a friend. But Chris kind of jumped the rails.
Yeah, I remember. Bit. Yeah. They went with that whole thing. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And now it's kind of like, okay, I can't tell people that we know him or that we had performed with them, because they're like, eh. But so we went from that and to simply writing and recording music. So for me, it felt like the writing and recording process, it wasn't enough anymore. After I got probably about 15 songs in, and I was like, I need to get other people involved. So I dove into my bag of friends that would tour with us or perform with us before, and said, hey, I need a bass player. I need another guitar player. I need a drummer. And we ended up putting this together. The name itself is something that, I want to say 15 years ago, I had come up with, just trying to put something together for a clothing brand. And it ended up not being used at all. So I'm like, that's still the perfect name.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe we'll just use that.
Name,
yeah.
So that's pretty much how that came about. It's like, just a bunch of me starting a solo project and then realizing that I needed more people because I have that urge to play live. The energy that you get from it is just uncomparable to anything. There's a certain energy in writing and recording because you accomplish something. You're like, damn, that song's really good. I like that. You know, it came out really well. But then there's a whole other level of energy that comes from playing live and standing on a stage and kind of, I don't want to say commanding, but interacting with the crowd. And, you know, they give you that energy. It gives you that power to give it back to them. And it's like, that's where I wanted to end up. So that's really how that kind of all came about. Unfortunately, COVID hit. And right around the time when we were getting ready to start doing shows. And once COVID hit, it was like, okay, so now what? Like, we didn't go into that whole, let's do live streaming shows for people. Because the thing is, there's not a lot of production that goes into that. And it's not that we want to sound overly produced when we play live, but we were concerned about the sound quality of anything. Because you can sound really good in a room, but once it's live, on a microphone being streamed, you could sound like complete shit because of the bit rate or whatever. And like, we were just like, we don't really want to do that and kind of give people's first perspective of us as garbage. You know?
I understand.
Absolutely.
Like, and again, sometimes whenever you make that super polished track, it's gonna be hard to pull it off on the stage, on a live set. Again, depending on the acoustics of the room or whatever, there is a lot of things that comes in.
The sound quality, everything.
Factors that really. But I mean, it's good that you kept the name since 15 years, man. And you're like, you know what, I gotta be using it.
Yeah, it was, it just, that name clicked back then. And like I said, it was originally going to be the name of a clothing brand that I was putting together. And it just, since I never used it and went with a different name, it's not that the name was horrible. It was just that, okay, I just came up with something better. And over the years, when it came to forming a band, it was like, that name just kind of popped back up in my head out of nowhere. Like, hey, I came up with that name a while back, maybe I'll use that. And so that's really how it went. And now, went from that solo thing to a full band, and we're still kind of reeling as far as live shows are concerned. We're still kind of reeling from the COVID thing. I mean, we're kind of like the ugly duckling following behind the other bands that are already back on the stage. We're just like, okay, so now we've taken all this time to write and record. We've not really rehearsed as much as we should. So it's like, do we really want to step on the stage yet? And so we're kind of getting around to that, to where, we're planning to start scheduling dates and things like that. Unfortunately, another hindrance is our bass player ended up injuring his shoulder. And it was to the point where he couldn't even turn a doorknob. And
that bad.
So we're assuming it requires surgery, but we're not sure. But that leaves us kind of in a sticky situation as well, because we have this situation where we have to find somebody to replace him. But he's such a good friend that we're like, we don't really want to.
I understand. I understand that feeling. Matter of fact, like a couple of days ago, we were talking with my band members because we were considering to get rid of someone, but then again, we're like, dude, we're all shit, so let's just, we are no one to judge anyone else.
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, I have fired my best friend from a band. Yeah, but I didn't really have any problem with it. I am that guy that while I have compassion for friendship, I'm more, when it comes to things like that, I'm more about chemistry musically, because I try to try to separate friendship from business.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, this was with my former band. He was actually one of the founders of the former band that I was in, and we were best friends. And we did one show. He was horrible with stage fright, and so we did one show, our first show ever, and we all met up at a restaurant after the show, and we met up with the people who actually set up the show for that. It was a memorial show.
Okay.
And he looked at us and he said, "So how long of a break are we going to take?" It like sucked the air out of the room because like we had all this energy, and then we did one show, and he was like, "So how long of a break are we going to take?" I just kind of looked at him like, "The fuck are you talking about, a break? Like, we did one show."
Like, we just started, man.
Yeah.
And what that boiled down to was his stage fright. He was hoping to not jump right into another show and do show after show because he was actually afraid to be on the stage. It was during that show. I mean, I don't mean to make this really long, but during that show, a good example of the stage fright is it was in wintertime, so we were all wearing jackets and things. However, once we got into the venue and on the stage and everything, it's time to get, that persona, that energy, and the first thing that he did that I noticed was he kept his jacket on. You're talking about a heavy winter jacket.
Oh my God.
He almost used it as a security blanket. And while he's playing, I kind of leaned over and I'm like, "Hey, where the fuck you going?" He keep his coat on. It's like you're ready to bolt out the door at any minute. But yeah, that was, I ended up firing him. And the way I did it was I invited him to a late dinner at a Denny's. With the rest of the band. And when he walked in, the new guitar player that was replacing him was already sitting with us. And when he walked in, I'm like, "Hey, Mike, this is the guy that's replacing you."
Oh man. That's
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos to you. You had the balls to do it, and it takes courage to It's like, to be. It's not that you're made of stone or something like this, but to put your foot down and like, you know what, I will not pause my thing because of, I understand what you're going through, but I'm trying to help you. But if you're not understanding, we need to go, and move on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, yeah.
Then with somebody in a band that does that, they really hold the rest of the band back. Yeah. And because if you can't book a show, and that's what it ended up, that is why we ended up firing, not because of that one night, but subsequent rehearsals, he would cancel them because he knew that if we would rehearse, that it would be closer to the next show. So he would cancel the rehearsals. He would not want to book anything. So eventually we were like, well, I mean, he's holding us back. So, it wasn't that I wanted to kill a friendship, and it didn't, at least not then. I mean, it didn't.
Mutual understandings is there. As a musician, you need to understand
right.
It,
Yeah.
Right. And maybe the way I handled it, the other guys were like, "Damn, man, that was cold." I'm like, "It's business, though."
It was cold.
It's business, though. It's just, we can still be friends outside of it, but if he's willing to hold, how cold is it that he's willing to hold everybody else back, though?
Yeah.
I mean, that's again, the debate is very open.
But Mike, I wanted to actually ask you, with Disaster Theory, with the way it sounds, what was the point when you decided that, I want this band to sound like this? What was that point where? And
it's a good segue because after you explain this, we're going to jump in and watch
I can't wait to listen to the stuff again. Yeah.
So, well, the reality of it is I don't think we still, I don't think still that we've realized, decided how we want it to sound. There's a lot of unreleased tracks at the moment. During COVID, we actually wrote close to 78 songs. that we recorded. And a lot of them are unreleased, and some people might be surprised at what it sounds like based on what we've already released. Just as diverse as we are in what we listen to, we're also very diverse in what we play. A good example, as I mentioned, we do music for movies and TV shows and things. A lot of those, as much as we try to push that disaster theory sound onto these music supervisors, they're very strict in what they're looking for, of course, because they need something that fits the mood for their movie or for their TV show. So, when they're like, okay, so we need this very dramatic sound for this scene, and it needs to have this suspenseful buildup, and we're like, well, here's our track, Never Back Down. And they're like, fuck's wrong with you guys? Like, this is this is a heavy. So that was us in the beginning of this, but since then we've began writing, and nothing that we would ever release on an album, but we've written full out rap, we've written full out pop songs, because that's what fits with what they're looking for. However, when it comes to us as a band and what we plan to release in the future, we have stuff that is really kind of dirty Southern rock, stuff. Some of it is new metal. We try to be consistent, though, with the way it sounds, which is very tough. Especially when you write music that kind of fits in different genres, but you have to try to compile them into one album. You don't want them to sound so different.
I feel you, man, because with the genre that we both like and we're both working at, it's just like the black sheep of the genres. They pin you out, either too hardcore or you're too soft. You're not.
Right. But our sound is very. It fluctuates a lot as far as what we do, and it's like I said, we had written like 78 songs when we had nothing else to do but write and record, and it was kind of tough to pick what was going to go on our album Destination Nowhere, and we ended up with I think it was like 16 tracks that we put on there, and it was more of a new metal, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit sound, and we kind of stick to that sphere because that's what we enjoy doing. Nice. But we're not above releasing a country song either. If we feel it, and it's something that we put emotion into, it's like, well, maybe we'll add some heavy guitar to it to make it.
If it comes, it comes, man. It's
right.
Yeah, it's there.
It's about art and expression, really.
Yes, that's definitely it.
That's definitely that. But anyway, this is a good segue, so we can jump on YouTube to see the video of Disaster Theory's latest single, Overcome, which features Marshal Mathers AKA EMINEM. And we're gonna get back so Mark can talk to us regarding the journey and how was it, and how was
the writing,
the writing, and what it made it to go all to Eminem, how they got there. But before going there, I just want to give a quick shout out to Breathing New Life. Tom, thank you very much for joining us. He's here. Breathing New Life is a podcast related to nu metal underground bands in general, like metal music, nu metal music. So he's on Spotify and Anchor FM.
I love listening to him.
And he's on Twitch as well.
Yeah.
So Tom, thank you very much. And Amin is in the house. Thank you very much with all the restriction that's there in Iran right now. You joined us. Thank you very much.
Be
Amin,
safe,
if you're still watching. And Moiler, again, sorry about we usually don't when you redeem like a redeemable thing on Twitch, when we have a guest, we usually don't take much of them. We just work with Hydrate. You can redeem Hydrate. But other than that, Breathing New Life is saying mostly nu metal. And anyway, so we're gonna jump to listen to Overcome, the latest single from Disaster Theory, and we're gonna come back to you guys. Okay? Cheers.
you might think something's wrong with your hearing. It's D12 and disaster theory. Yeah. Guess who's back?
Come on, Mike, it's a fucking weapon. You wanna fuck with me? You're gonna learn a lesson. Don't make me send your ass back to the streets with your head bowed, crawling on your hands and knees. Bitch, you don't think I had to work for this shit? You think I really wouldn't die for this shit? I'm like a plague coming straight out the gutter, like a madman hustling just to rise above it. Sitting back with my crown and shit, think about the ones who said you'll never make it, kid. Quit. I push through all the tears and the pain. Now you can bet I run through you if you stand in my way. Just like a freight train running out of control, but I know it's one wrong word. They'll try to take it all and try to cancel me, but I'll be damned if I change. You better watch your fucking mouth when you speak my name. I've worked so hard to get this far. I spent my whole life in the dark. I never thought I'd rise above it, but I finally overcome it. I've lost my way too many times, crawled back from every sacrifice. I never thought I'd learn to love it until I learned to overcome it.
Spot. We snatch guap, the gatekeeper of our block. Non-stop, the Grim Reaper's the mascot. Killing the game, crackpots, headshots. And animosity leaves nothing but dead punks. Finding bodies in dump trucks, they high as fuck. I shoot them out of the sky faster than duck hunting. Motherfucker, I'm coming straight from the dirty dozen. While I'm hustling, I'm cuffing the Mac 11 and puffing nothing but cannabis. Double cup with Robitussin. I'm an animal, rap cannibal, you're a supper. And I be busting your skull cap. When I aim, I have them ducking like Hunchback of Notre Dame. Wanna be known? Well, nigga, this is the cost of fame. I make some pasta out of a nigga's brain.
I've worked so hard to get this far. I spent my whole life in the dark. I never thought I'd rise above it, but I finally overcome it. I've lost my way too many times, crawled back from every sacrifice. I never thought I'd learn to love it until I learned to overcome it.
I love this line.
What? You think you're made for this level just because you went and made a fucking pact with the devil, bitch? It ain't nothing but violence and sirens. When you come about the mile like I did a hybrid. The white dude trying to do what I do isn't heard of. It's something I learned from. I burned up like a motherfucking fire inside me. A little match like a signal. Pray, come and find me.
I've worked so hard to get this far. I spent my whole life in the dark. I never thought I'd rise above it, but I finally overcome it. I've lost my way too many times, crawled back from every sacrifice. I never thought I'd learn to love it until I learned to overcome it. Coming.
Oh my God.
Tom, I like I'm happy that I'm listening to it over and over again, and I'm not nagging or anything.
Yes.
I'm just happy that I heard it like this.
I heard it before the stream as well,
like the
and
10th
now.
time.
Oh.
So, you already got like a new fan, T Phillies. Like both me and his wife Emma like this a lot. Moiler is like doing claps.
There we go.
So Tom, I think you need to change your camera. Okay. That's cool. So Tom, walk us through, man. How was the journey, and where did you guys, came up with this plan to get Eminem on board?
It was never actually a plan for that. What ended up happening is we had an opportunity to get through a producer a feature from Swifty McVeigh, and I mean, we at the time, it's like our genre of music is not really something that fosters features, that's really something that is more the culture of hip hop more than it is metal.
Yes.
Right.
When it comes to metal, it's more, well, we might have a guest guitar player, something like that. So when we first had the opportunity to get Swifty as a featured artist, we were like, I don't know. I mean, this sounds like this isn't as glamorous as it may as people may think at first. And we were like, I really don't know. I mean, is he gonna do something that fits what we're doing here? I mean, are we gonna have to craft something around what he's doing, and then are we gonna have to try to make a gangster metal song?
That would be dope.
And I'm just, and of course, I'm just being fair. I'm not stereotyping. That's just what that's the kind of music that he makes.
Yes. Yeah.
And so the thing is that we let's give it a shot and see what happens. Let's see what happens. So we kind of sent this very bare bones track. It was just a beat and a tempo, really. Since they're rap verses, you don't really need chords and melodies, so it's just kind of and what we got back, we were like, okay, damn, that's pretty good. It kind of fits where we were going with this song anyway. So we ended up changing it a little bit because it was not, like I said, when we sent it to them, it was just a beat and a tempo. There was no guitars, there were no nothing. It was, if you would have heard that, you would have no idea that this was going to be a metal song. So we got that back, but when we were going through the track layers in the zip file that we had gotten, it was kind of like we found this one that was not, the title was not formatted the same way as the rest. So I ended up, clicking that, opening it up, and lo and behold, at first it did not indicate who it was as far as the file name or anything. But I opened it up, and it's the first thing I hear is you might think something's wrong with your hearing, and I'm like, holy fuck, is that? I'm like, holy shit, is that who I think it is? And immediately I got excited, because I'm the one that mixes and produces and everything, our music. So the other guys hadn't heard it yet. So the very first thing, I'm on Messenger now, saving this to Google Drive. I'm like, hey, listen to this shit. And and all of them had the same reaction, like, holy fuck, is that Eminem? I'm like, I think it is. And so we went and got confirmation, and the way, they were like, well, you just thought, that tagline to introduce D12. I'm like, we'd really like to use it, except for it doesn't really make sense to use it. If he's not in the rest of the song, what sense does it make to put him at the beginning of it?
Exactly.
It's true.
You don't want, for example, we have, we're not actually going to give the name out, but there's, in the remix of Overcome, which I'm actually currently working on, there is another artist that everybody will know, but he only has one line in the entire thing. And the only line he has is mic check 1 2 1 2. That's it.
Okay.
I think people might recognize his voice, but we're not going to openly go out and say, hey, this song feat, because it's really all that.
So it's in like an Easter egg, like.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's really how that ended up happening, is that we got that little MP3 file, that just had that introduction tag. And we were like, well, we'd love to use it because that would blow this song up, but we can't because it just doesn't make sense to use it without him being in the rest.
Yeah.
So we went through, the same producer, and we were like, can we get more? If we can get more, we'll use both. And I want to say 3 or 4 months went by and we heard nothing, and we're like, well, we're not going to get this. So we went ahead and finished the song up without him in it. And it was after we were actually getting prepared to release it that way. I mean, it was like within hours we were about to upload it to the distributor, and it ended up we got a new zip file, and there it was, the 8 bars. And I'm like, well, shit, because like I've already mixed this and everything, so now I gotta recut this and add space in for him. And so that's how that ended up happening. It was like purely accident, but it worked out really well.
But I mean, come on, man, it's like, it's one of these lucky Kinder surprises that you open and you get that, that toy that you
also, it was not
time.
Renamed, so it was just by luck that happened. The universe was just giving the blessing there.
But I mean, how was the vibe in the band when they heard about this? Like, when you told them, how everyone was reacting?
Our drummer Justin, him and I, we really work closely together, especially with the sync licensing and the music that we do for movies and stuff. He and I work really closely together, and so he's usually the first to know about everything that's happening. And when I sent him the final mix of everything, because we've already done our parts and everything, and like I said, the song was getting ready to be released, and we were preparing within hours to upload it to the distributor when we got that zip file with the new vocal track. And I had to go back and cut out that space. But when at the end of it all, when I sent Justin the final mix with everyone in it, he was like, dude, this is going to blow up. And I never see things in that perspective, because I don't know. I think that for me, I feel like I'm not being humble enough if I think that something's going to be massively, popular, that I've done myself. So I always try to be, I always try to take things with a sense of humility and be humble with it. And because there's no kind of letdown, then there's no other thing, no other feeling of letdown than when you're like, this is gonna be huge, and like one person likes it.
I understand.
So, and I think you kind of set yourself up for it too whenever you already go into it feeling like it's going to be huge. You're kind of setting yourself up for that disappointment as well. But Justin was all about, he's like, this is going to be so big. And he said, think about that. You never get the rap god in a metal song. And I think it only happened one other time, and it was with Kid Rock. And I think that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he said, this is going to be so big. And, the reason I kept him in check to an extent with that, because my kind of feeling of it was becoming the more accurate feeling of it, is that, okay, I'm not going out on a limb and saying that this is going to be huge. I'm kind of going, okay, we're going to do this and it's going to be okay. And that's kind of the path that it was taking at first. It was kind of like nobody cared. It's like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
It was like we put this out, and like we would share the previews and everything like that of it, just little snippets, and we made sure because the contracts allowed us to use the likenesses, so we made sure to use the likenesses in the videos and the countdown, and like, this is coming September 13th, and nobody cared. And I'm like, how is this possible? Like, how is it possible?
I think Tom is lying.
It's like, this is wrong. Well, Emin actually, I found him in a group, and he was offering publicist and PR services, and I'm like, you know, I have a lot of projects down the line, and I'd really like to see what you can do, man. Because if you can change the trajectory of this single and the way it's going, I've got a lot more work for you then, you know, and we'll promote you to other people as well. Mm-hmm. And so he stepped in, he crafted a press release, and the next thing you know, people cared. They gave a shit. They actually, you know, people were paying attention now. And he did an amazing job, by the way. If anyone else watching needs those services, Emin is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, my band is signed to that same record label that he's, founder of Tough Sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for them to do this thing from Iran it's already a challenge, but I mean, with Emin, he has a lot of knowledge, and he's always at that quest of learning and challenging himself to, you know, to get out there, and he always encourage
everyone.
Encourage most of the artists under the label to, you know, do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't do. And yeah, Emin is here. Yo, thanks, man. I mean, thank you very much. With all this gibberish that's happening over there, and you're still here, thank you very much for being here with us.
I know.
And
but Mike, I'm curious
Mark,
about.
Not Mike.
Sorry, Mark. I'm curious about. Sorry about that. I fumble a lot on the show. Everyone knows I have a goldfish memory. So I'm curious about the writing process of the song, with the title Overcome, and you know, the lyrics are so profound. So how did you go about writing it?
It actually came from just kind of going back to when we were, you know, struggling actually to be known at all, and it kind of even goes as far back as my old band. You know, no matter how much success or progress that we would make, we would always have those people that are like, you're just really not that good, or you're never really gonna, you know, never gonna get to that height where you want to be, and you might as well just give up, you know. I mean, just go do something else. I mean, you guys are good at mixing, and maybe focus on that, mixing music for other people. And you know, that kind of takes a toll on somebody, you know, when you hear people say that, even if it's just the minority of people saying that. You get one person that says that, and
the
because
crack is
this
already
is such
made.
I mean, this is a passion. You do this out of love for what you're doing, and then even one person is like, that sucks. You
kind of makes you doubt.
That's like, it takes something that you've created with your heart and soul, and just flushes it right down the toilet. For, you know, it's like it starts to make you doubt yourself.
I know.
And so I'm always one to write, when it comes to lyrics, I'm always one to write what I'm feeling. Sometimes I'm too blunt with it, in fact, that has gotten me in trouble in the past. But I try now to use, you know, more analogies than anything else to kind of refer to different things. But I mean, especially in today's world, if you say something wrong, you know, so it's better to be vague and kind of craft your idea and your message around that. So that's what I kind of did with that, and it basically stems from just growing up in an environment that, you know, my family and friends were very supportive, but everybody else was not. You know, they look at you like you have a pipe dream. Give up, you know, it doesn't sound really good. So it's about overcoming that, you know, and I actually, if you actually listen to any other Disaster Theory songs, you'll actually find a common theme of, I don't want to say angst, but it's more reality. It's reality for what I've experienced. And I approached Overcome with, you know, no differently than that, really. It's just a different story of my life, pretty much.
I mean, it's those guys that they tell you won't make it is just, as you said, you're making that thing with all this love and passion and all this time that you invested in it, and they just come and they just crack it for you, and you like, they ignite that doubt in you that, okay, you know what, I was not paying attention, I was not paying attention to this part of it, but now your full focus, your whole aura is just focused on that point. Is that, you know what?
Yeah, but
I might rethink my life, stuff like this.
Yeah.
But kudos to you that you actually turned it into a form of art. And let everyone know that you dealt with all this, and you're still going through all this and getting all that criticism, and still fighting through all that.
78 songs during COVID.
Oh my God, that's
that
insane.
says a lot. I mean, for me, 78, I would just sit on my ass and just pick out the timings and just release them, back to back.
And
there's often a strategy to it. We try to release these things based on, we have stuff in our locker that is we'll release it then because it fits with what everybody might be feeling at that point. We have we had some Halloween type videos where we did a metal cover of the Halloween theme song, and we're all dressed as Michael Myers.
Okay.
We never released that. We were like, well, maybe this year, maybe next year. Just it depends on, okay, do we have time to do it this year and make it big? And make it a big thing, that people will pay attention to, or do we not have time to do it this year and maybe we'll do it next year and kind of do a month-long build-up or something like that. So there's a strategy to it all, and then there's also the aspect of this doesn't really sound like what we normally do. How is this going to be perceived? So we kind of go through those all the time, and a lot of times we find out of those 78 songs that we wrote, okay, maybe we can actually change this up a little bit and make it more consistent with what we typically sound like. So we end up going back to the drawing board, redoing the entire song to make it more Disaster Theory.
Yeah, that's a lot of work, because you need to
recalibrate everything.
Fuck that. Okay, you have the 78 songs. Each one of them was written during your experience in that time. In that time stamp.
Yeah.
And now you want to go back to it, and I completely feel this, because sometimes you don't like that. I was like, what the hell I was thinking? Why I've done this? I could have done that.
Or maybe it's appropriate for another time.
Yeah. So it's a lot of work, mentally as well, to get your head around it and re-grasp these emotions that they were there back then, and revisit them and try to feel that emotion
and also
again.
Having to perform them live with that same emotion of the song.
But these are all the factors. But Mark, my question is that if like you ended up to have a track with EMINEM, what is your advice for the new upcoming people that, again, they're playing this type of genre and they are struggling with marketing or writing or in general with doing this music journey? What is your advice for them? What is the tips that you give that they need to pay attention to in the beginning, at least?
Actually, I always say that just focus on what you do. You have to actually feel what you're doing, and you have to have that passion for what you're doing. So focus on that. Focus on being good. Focus on relaying your message well. And getting those emotions out into your song, because if you don't feel it, the fans aren't going to feel it either. They'll find that it's very generic. They'll find that you're just doing it for the attention, which once they feel that, it'll be a climb uphill after that. So for anyone just starting, I always tell them, focus on that. Focus on your craft. Invest in yourself. Try not to jump over the mountain. Nobody that is successful has ever jumped over the mountain. They have to climb from the bottom to the top.
Exactly.
And you also have a lot of the newer artists that want to run around the mountain. They just keep running around in circles around it, complaining, well, this is too hard, this is too hard. If you just take that first step and at least try to climb it, that's where you're going to find your success. You're not going to really find your success running around the mountain doing the same thing over and over again. You're not going to find that success if you spend all your time trying to find ways to jump over it. That's where your focus is going to be.
Yeah, you're going to end up not doing it at all.
Yeah.
Right. You have to take that time to climb. Put the work in, cut your teeth, but stay true to what you do. Because if you're not true to it, you're not going to feel it. The fans aren't going to feel it. And once they don't feel it, like I said, it's going to be superficial to them. They're not going to pay attention to you after that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But is there any artist on your bucket list that you would like to collaborate with?
I mean, he already collabed with EMINEM.
No, there has to be something, that you...
If I could say one, it definitely would not be Billie Eilish.
Why not, man?
I'm just really, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it would mesh really well.
It's it's like, it's a very acquired taste. Which
I've got friends that absolutely love her music.
She's dope, man. She's dope. Her shit is not bad, man.
I think I've heard one track and I'm like, that's pretty sick,
Yeah.
But I think, and I guess I'm an asshole for this because I would want the same thing that that she's getting. I think that for me, once an artist is just talked about over and over and over, that it becomes oversaturated to the point where you're like, I'm so sick of hearing about them.
It's not only you. We're in the same boat.
And I think that has given me this kind of jaded look on her as an artist, because they will run a press release for her if she took a shit today, and it's like, damn.
Yes.
You're that big, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, she dyed her hair a different color, or hey, she looked at a tree today. Or do a whole PR. I'm like, oh my god, like I can't. But getting away from who I don't think that I'd want to do. I mean, that could change, but I think the one that I would really want to do a collaboration with is probably Mike Shinoda.
Oh my lord, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's not even the Linkin Park connection, really. It's he's just a phenomenal artist, with Linkin Park or without them.
Yeah.
Also a phenomenal producer. There's just something about his aura, and I mean, he's a really kind dude as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he can be dickish just like the rest of us when it's appropriate, but he's a very kind dude, and I think that whole package of the kindness, his ability to produce, his ability to write, just legendary status. That would be a dream.
I mean, dude.
If
Mike
that happened,
Shinoda
I will lose my shit.
I mean, I have a friend of mine. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, okay.
I have a friend of mine who started on Twitch, and he started streaming in the beginning of early days of COVID and back in 2020. And he actually produced our first album here. We recorded, and he mixed and produced everything. He goes by the username Hadi Plays Music. And he actually got one of his songs to be produced or mixed and mastered by Mike Shinoda. And he found him through Twitch.
Yeah.
And
what a sweet guy though, for Mike to do this.
Exactly what I'm going to say is the down earth, being so down to earth. Ethics that he has.
Exactly.
I mean, you can see it in his face. He's not a douche. Like, you know.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Like, you know, when it comes to even yeah, sorry to cut you off. Yeah, carry on.
No, you're good. No, I was just gonna say, you know, I think that I think he can be stern when he needs to be. You know, when it, you know, a lot of fans bring up Chester to him, replacing Chester in Linkin Park, and
No, they're completely different, man. They really complement each other.
Well, I mean, a lot of the fans actually talked to him about Linkin Park finding a new singer. Or this person sounds just like Chester. After a while, I mean, that pisses him off because that was his best friend.
Of course.
You know, and when you have that type of chemistry and your best friend is gone, the last thing you want is people suggesting to you that you replace them, or that this person sounds just like him, or you know, when is Linkin Park I mean, I understand from a fan point of view, we all want to see another Linkin Park album, we all want to see another Linkin Park show, but in reality, for us as fans, that's superficial. It's selfish almost, because of the magnitude of what Shinoda's dealing with. And
of course, that's a lot of
it's tough. And I think that, you know, in some ways and I think that this is something that only makes me want to work with him more, is that he has found a way to channel that loneliness that he feels, and he has channeled it into his fans. Communicating with them, working with them. Like, as you said, he produced a friend of yours music. I mean, those are things that you would never see happen if Linkin Park was still very active. And that it's very, very unfortunate and even sad for the reason why Linkin Park is not active anymore. But he has found a way to turn it into a positive, and I think that just speaks volumes about him as well.
Yeah,
I agree,
definitely.
indeed. It's like, you know, but it's Mike Shinoda, so I hope you can get that connection happen.
Oh,
okay, I think he jumped out of the conversation.
Oh God.
But yeah, guys, thank you for sticking around, and I think it's just like a matter of time till he gets back to us.
Yeah.
So other than that, if you guys have any questions for Mark, please
write it down.
Yeah, write it down. And again, thank you very much for the guys that joined us for this session.
And are still, you know, sticking around with us. And man, I have so many things to ask. Mark.
Yeah, but so little time.
I know. I hope that everyone's having a great weekend so far. What you guys doing?
Yeah, tell us in the comments until I try to
Tiffany
get him
is
back.
here in Dubai, so
yeah.
You know, we're gonna meet him in a bit. But what's everyone doing? So far, we just wanted to stay in today, and we had a late night yesterday. He had a band meeting after the stream, so we were just relaxing after that. And I'll be working on some artwork tomorrow.
Yep,
so,
we plan things and then something comes in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, after hopefully after September and October, we're trying to, you know, keep it as minimal as we can. Like when it comes to the sessions, we're gonna solely focus on the shenanigans sessions because it's been a while. I need to get my nagging out of the way.
Yeah, because now we usually stream on weekends, so you know. It's kind of
now
it's kind of better for me because I kind of have a day job, so it gets a lot when you're coming from like a stressful day, and I only get a few hours to, you know, recuperate and take a nap or get shit done, so it just gets too hectic. So we decided to keep it for weekends, and I think it's going good so far. We get to, you know, relax after the stream as well, and, you know, recover from the week's torture. But, yeah, so far it's okay. And we can't wait for winter as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're gonna travel. We're planning to travel.
Like, look at my head.
Happens.
I am sweating with the fucking AC being on 22.5. It's just insane here.
Scorching.
I mean, like, T. Philly, if you're listening, are you enjoying this heat? Are you
I really
enjoying
don't.
this?
I really don't get it. People who enjoy summer, I don't get it. Like summer, if it's reasonable, it's okay. But this country has fucking 46 degrees right now.
Oh my god, what was that day you turn on the car?
47.
No, the 150, I sent it to T Philly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whenever you want to move on, just
It's
keep
like
on.
high 40s, almost 50s. So the humidity is insane. So the minute you come out from, you come back home from outside, you feel drained, like you're done, So
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, and like, we're trying to get our we even like brought everything to a minimum thing, that we don't even go out, because if we go out, we're gonna end up in a mall, and like,
yeah.
what do you want to do in a mall?
So you're just gonna go from indoors to indoors. So I'm just tired. I can't. And now with all the the open gates of countries, everyone is flooding into Dubai.
Yeah.
So it's just getting more and more crowded. And you know how I am. I'm a fucking introvert. I wanna be home. Just chill, do nothing, and cook and attend to the house. That's it, just chilling.
And which, lately we've been doing this, just like be at home, cook during the week, then we, schedule this for a weekend, this for this for that.
Yeah.
And we did few new things, with food and stuff. We
Which
saw
new
a
things?
spot, like, we were watching some...
Which new things?
No, we were watching that Try Not to Eat.
Oh, People versus Food. Guys, if you don't know about this channel, please go watch it.
Yeah, people versus food. So they are like, they have a theme. For example, their theme was The Office, whatever food was presented in the show The Office. So they will tell them, try not to eat. If they eat, they need to endure punishment at the end of the show. So there was a scene that they were having like a Alfredo spaghetti, and she's like, I want to make it. So the next day we got spaghetti, we got everything to make Alfredo, which it was bomb.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked
But again, me and dairy, we don't go along very well. Milk,
me too.
and like milk, but it's weird. It's only milk, not with cheese. Wait, again, cheese depends if I have a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Mark is joining us. Let me just
All right.
get him on. That was a bullshit thing. Yo, Mark, turn your phone horizontally, man.
There we go.
Yo, did you receive a call in between?
Yeah, we had an outage here, cut the Wi-Fi and killed everything.
Oh God. Okay.
Sorry about that, man. No worries, man. No worries. I mean, like, we kept the show going on, and we were just,
Yeah.
just giving an update about our stuff, that what we're going to be
and
doing.
we were talking about Mike, being the way he is. But
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
yeah. But I wanted to ask you, as a vocalist, what are your inspirations, or who did you look up to till you got to the phase where, okay, I want to do this myself and sound like this, or practice this way, or how did you discover all that?
This is a tough one. And I almost don't want to admit it. So whenever when I was growing up, and like I said, with my grandfather playing guitar and me wanting to be, a guitar player.
Yeah.
During that time that I actually mentioned that I had given it up, I wasn't really into metal then, because I hadn't really heard it. And I ended up becoming a huge fanboy of Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And it got to the point where even then, I was kind of a performer then, even at a young age, and it wasn't because I really wanted to. It was because my mom thought it would be awesome if I did some of these things. So me being a huge Michael Jackson fan, I learned the lyrics to his songs. I sang along to them. I learned the dances. I even went as far as
buying the zipper jacket and all that.
Full-fledged.
Yeah, when I, like I said,
I was a fanboy. And that's really where I got my start singing and actually performing, because what I would do is at that age, I would dress up like Michael Jackson and go and perform at the Senior Citizens Center to entertain the old timers.
That is so sweet. Oh.
I think those were the only times that I've ever felt stage fright, because I was such a young kid that like performing in front of people was scary to me. But at the same time, those things kind of set me up later on to the point where I no longer felt stage fright for anything that I did. So not, I didn't mean to get too far off topic, but yeah, that was where I realized that I actually wanted to sing as well as, play guitar. So,
right.
And in fact, it was kind of a trade-off whenever I realized playing guitar was pretty damn hard. I'm like, well, then I'll sing.
Yeah.
It's easier to sing than it is play guitar. Even if you don't sing well, it's much easier to use your voice than it is to pick up an instrument and make it sound good. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, so that shaped up your experience around making it a routine for yourself, and to get you, basically it made you to get your mojo.
Yeah. And
I would say I mean, a lot of people, I've been asked before too, in a blog interview about stage fright and what I would tell people on how to get over that and things. And that's, for me, it's very different because I don't feel it. I don't feel stage fright. So it's, in some ways, it's hard for me to tell people how to get over that. You can't really advise somebody on something that you don't know.
Exactly.
And those early days of, when I would perform and dance at the Senior Citizen Center, those were really what got me over stage fright and made me, even at that young age, made me realize these people enjoy what I'm doing, even if I fuck it up. They're just having a good time watching, and they're all in that room because they knew that I was coming to dance for them. So they already knew what to expect. And I see that the same way when it comes to today and performing music in front of people. They already know what you sound like. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
They also know that you're human and mess up sometimes.
Exactly.
So there's no real reason to be afraid or even feel those butterflies, so to speak, to kind of force you to not want to do it or not do your best or whatever. So
yeah,
it really set up that whole situation for me to make it easy to do, what we do now.
I mean, that's, again, it's these things that musicians go through that, again, because it's really, you depend. What I'm trying to say, when it comes to a musician, it's mostly emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, in my personal opinion, with my journey, it was mostly emotional, but I never had stage fright. I was actually wanted to go on the stage.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to go on stage.
Yeah.
So, again, as you said, it's hard to explain it unless you try it, you experience it yourself, and then you need to learn how to overcome that problem, and hence the latest single.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So, overcome it, and to learn how to tackle this thing, because it's one of these things that you need to try it yourself. And no matter we explain it how.
Yeah.
How it's just gonna still be the same.
Yeah.
Have you ever had stage fright?
Well, I was an Indian classical singer, so for me, when I was a kid, I was on stage, I was singing, I was performing for dancing and stuff. So At a young age, I was already having that kind of, my mom, thanks to her, I used to go into debates and recitations and stuff. So I used to write poetry. So a lot of these things I was also competing on a state level for chess. So there were a lot of places where I had to be in front of large crowds and perform for people and, local artists and stuff. And I was,
shitting bricks.
Yeah. But I think either you're made for it or you're not. You can define it yourself. Sometimes our parents push us, or sometimes something encourages you to get out there. But
or sometimes it's just the passion inside you that you really want to do this.
And then there are some artists that are behind the stage and they don't really perform, but they keep releasing music. So I guess it's the comfort of the person.
No, they call these people ghostwriters.
as long as you have fans, I think it's.
Dude, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. I mean, it's so much money in ghostwriting nowadays.
Yeah.
Man. It's just weird.
Yeah.
There is, in some of the groups that I'm involved in, a lot like one of the groups that I met EMINEM in. There are a lot of people that ask for help writing songs and things like that. Now, granted, some of those groups, those people are the epitome of the opposite of what you want to do as an artist.
Exactly.
Many of them are like, I don't have no money, but I'll give you 50% of the royalties and all of that. And you're like, nobody knows who you are. So 50% of the royalties is nothing.
Yeah. Yes.
So, but I do find myself, I try to give back. So as much as I try to give back to communities online as much as I get from them. And when it comes to ghostwriting, you will find that there are people that I've got this budget and I need help writing this. And I have found myself kind of helping other people in that aspect. And outside of those communities in the real world, in the real music business, there's a lot of money in ghostwriting. And it's because, these people see your worth and they see their worth.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, when it comes to stuff like that, ghostwriting or even just setting up a studio, what DAW to use, what, if you want somebody to be featured on your song, for example, and they're always like, well, I can't give you money. Well, the reality of it is, for an unknown artist, money is really all you have to trade.
Yep.
And I always tell them, when it comes down to it, you have to be willing to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to invest in yourself, you're going to have a bitch of a time trying to get other people to invest in you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because if you don't see your worth, how are you going to portray that to someone else? How are you going to portray your worth or what you think your worth is to someone else?
Yeah.
And that, going at it from that perspective is more, that's why the industry, I think, will change. And I think that's also why the more professional people who want ghostwriters are willing to pay for it. And that's why there's actual good money in ghostwriting and things like that, from professionals, not the beginners, but the professionals.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And with all that being said, Mark, thank you very much for joining us for this session. I hope we covered as much as we could about disaster theory, and I hope you enjoyed this session. It was a pleasure to have you on board, and you
Absolutely.
actually, dedicating time to be with us on this session.
And we can't wait for the 78 new releases. And many more to come.
We do have, just a heads up, we do, not only do we have the remix of Overcome coming out with the surprised one-line guest.
Exactly, that I was about to say. Yeah, the Easter egg one.
Yes, we do have that, but we are working on an official release for a cover that we did of I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry.
Oh, okay.
We did a really heavy version of that. and we also have a ballad coming out, which is something that we never do.
Wow.
Wow.
So we have those in the pipeline, and those will be the next two that come out. So if anybody wants to catch them, just make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
I'm intrigued.
Yep, I've already put your IG handle under your video frame, which is Official Disaster Theory. They're on IG. Just give them a follow on Facebook. There also goes. You guys on Facebook with Disaster Theory or Official Disaster Theory?
We try to make everything Official Disaster Theory. YouTube wouldn't allow us to do that because it was too many characters. So for YouTube, it's just Disaster Theory.
Okay.
Everything else is Official Disaster Theory.
Okay, so anyway, all these links will be on because we're going to be releasing this video on YouTube later on. We're going to be like uploading it on YouTube. I'll be putting all the links to the video of Overcome and to all your socials. All these things will be covered, but like we always at the final stage, we ask the guests if they have something they want to talk, like they want to save for for the ending. What Disaster Theory music what is their message for the world?
It's very this kind of goes along with kind of my admiration for Chester Bennington. And I think we've mentioned Linkin Park and Chester Bennington so much that people may think that I've gone from a fanboy of Michael Jackson from when I was younger to a fanboy of Linkin Park.
Which there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
No, it's not even at that level. However, it's just a respect and for a specific aspect. Much like Chester Bennington, I deal with depression too, and I think that one of
no, don't tell me.
He portrayed that message of what he was going through.
Yeah.
And in some songs, you could hear that he portrayed his methods of trying to get his mind out of those moments.
Yeah.
And very much like that, it's not that we're trying to be anything like Linkin Park. It's just that because I experienced the same things to an extent that Chester has. A lot of the messages from Disaster Theory are similar. That's because the emotions are similar, and on a daily basis, I think that a lot of people need to hear that they're not alone.
Indeed.
When it comes to those feelings.
Exactly.
And so I try to be very personal with everything that I write, life experiences, and things like that. One of the songs that we have, Never Back Down, is actually a song that is written about a specific personal situation that I've gone through with my son and the influences that he had around him.
Wow.
And so that's just an example of how personal I try to be. And the messages that we put out with that, we try to make it so that it's personal for everybody else.
Exactly.
Right.
Like I said, try to show them that they're not alone in those experiences and those feelings. And the fact that we're still making music shows these people also that we've kind of, oh man, I almost said it. I almost did what you did.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. We've overcome. And that, that's possible, with your mindset. And as long as you have good people around you, it's possible to overcome those feelings.
To encourage you that, this is not the last stop and you should not give in.
Right.
But, all of us are, one way or another, we're dealing with depression. But again, on level of Chester Bennington, I always encourage people to talk, because even in our relationship, like if there's something stupid happening, and I'm like, you know what, we need to talk about it. We cannot let this pile up and become something else.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you guys listening, but what you guys heard Mark, and he said that, you know, he's going through the same thing. We're all going through the same thing. Daily lives, it's just
maybe different degrees in different ways.
Degrees.
Yeah.
It's just don't lose hope. Keep your chin up and always know that there is a better day. And that's, I mean, even Maynard James Keenan says in one of his songs, even a kidney stone gets out. A kidney stone doesn't stay in. So,
yeah.
Right.
But other than that, carry on.
I did want to say one more thing on that topic, however, and because we do this a lot with our fans. Like if you do visit our Instagram, you'll see that we have about 23,000 fans on there.
Yeah.
And you can literally ask any one of them when they're having a bad day. We are those people that actually reach out to them when we notice that there's been a week since they've posted something. Because I mean, we see our fans as our extended family. When we say we love our fans, we actually mean that genuinely. And
that is,
when we notice that a fan that we follow hasn't posted in a week, we actually reach out and send them a message and say, hey,
that
everything
so
good,
sweet.
you know.
God.
And they can testify to that. And so like that invite goes out to everybody that might be watching this as well. You know, once you become a Disaster Theory fan, you know, it's kind of like for us, you become part of the family. And if there's ever any time that you're feeling a certain way or anything like that, don't be afraid to reach out to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, man, thank you very much for all these powerful words that you gave us.
Exactly.
Now, and again, guys, do not like take this for granted. Follow up on yourself.
Yeah.
Because
and
this
follow
is your
up on
life.
each other.
Yeah, follow up on each other. Everyone needs, you know, that help from, you know, people around them.
Yeah.
It can be family, it can be your friends, it can be anyone, it can be your girlfriend, your wife, anything, man. It's just don't let it pile up. That's the bottom line. And with all that being said, again, Mark, thank you very much for being an awesome guest and you know, sharing a lot of information from the other side of the world, and you know, sharing your journey with your band Disaster Theory.
And you're such an awesome soul. Like I can sit down and talk about the universe and you know all the stuff with you for hours, and I would not notice the time pass.
Who knows? But we can obviously, like, you know, like we can always make a next episode, a second episode to get you on.
Or maybe maybe the Disaster Theory can come down to Dubai.
Oh yeah, you guys need to come down here and like try to see.
So we can meet them in person.
Yeah.
And then sit down.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
You guys need to visit Dubai at least once. You guys are gonna love it because you know it's.
Imagine if that happens.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. Make sure to you know.
Yeah, consider it a location for touring because you'll experience a whole other you know culture. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah.
That would be amazing. I got to tell you on that note. That would be something my wife would love. Here's the only issue with my wife is she's scared to death to fly.
Okay.
So I'm like, that would be some talking in order to get her there. But that would be, I think that she would love the experience still, aside from the flight. You know?
Tell her about the stage fright things and all these things, and try to lure her in. It's like, look, your husband was like this, so you know I made it.
Yeah.
So you gotta be fine. Just get on this. Like at the end, just shove her inside the plane.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, Mark, man, again, thank you very much. And all this is recorded. As I said, I'm gonna be putting your socials in the description on the YouTube video. Other than that, again, thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget, guys, to give official Disaster Theory a follow on IG, so you guys can stay up to date to their news and whenever they release new singles or anything, you know, to stay up to date with the band. And don't forget to give us a follow at linktree.com/convosandchill. You can get all the links to our platforms, join our Discord, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to give her a follow. She's at She's a Phoenix on IG if you like any tattoo designs.
I design a lot of tribal, Maori,
black ink. And we have a brownie page, like
for people in Dubai.
For people in Dubai,
Yes.
we bake the brownies at home and we deliver it ourselves.
Yeah.
And the page goes by @brownies_by_Phoenix.
Yeah, so just be careful because
Yeah.
many people have told me they've got diabetes because of it. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
we're just joking. But other than that, again, thank you very much, Mark, for joining us and dedicating this time.
I know,
to be
it was
with
such
us.
an honor talking to you.
Seriously.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad I can call you guys friends.
Oh,
and
thank
that
you
is
very
so
much.
sweet.
Thank you.
Same
Thank you.
here.
Thank you.
Thank
But
you so much.
stay with us on the call till we go offline. And
Absolutely.
to whoever was watching until now, thank you very much for being here and always supporting us. Tiffany, thank you very much for the
definitely.
7-month subscription. And we can't wait
guys
to
are
meet you
too
guys.
sweet.
Murder Base, Breathing New Life, Tom, Moiler. I'll do the redeem thing for you later. But whoever else was here, Abzi, thank you very much, guys. It means the world to us. And
I know. Thank
you
you
guys
so much,
stay
you
tight,
guys.
and we'll see you guys soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.